In the bustling kingdom of Vardamana, there lived a merchant named Anwar. Anwar was known throughout the land for his honesty and his keen business sense. He could find the finest silks and the rarest spices with ease. Anwar always treated everyone fairly.
I believe in fairness and honesty. It's the only way to earn respect and trust. Word of Anwar's efficiency reached the king of Vardamana. The king was impressed. He sought out Anwar to manage the kingdom's treasury.
Anwar, your reputation precedes you. I would be honored if you would manage the kingdom's treasury.
Your Majesty, it would be my honor. I accept without hesitation. Under his watchful eye, Vardamana prospered. The king was very pleased with Anwar's work. He showered Anwar with gifts and praise.
You have done exceptionally well, Anwar. The kingdom thrives under your guidance. Anwar in turn remained loyal and dedicated to his king. The people of Vardamana saw him as a role model. Anwar's story was just beginning.
Time passed and Anwar's daughter, Yasmin, grew into a beautiful young woman. The king held Anwar in high regard. He promised Anwar the grandest wedding celebration Vardamana had ever seen.
Anwar, your daughter's wedding will be a celebration like no other. I will make sure of it. The palace gardens were adorned with colorful silks and fragrant flowers. The wedding day arrived. Guests from far and wide gathered in the palace gardens. Musicians played lively tunes as dancers twirled and spun. The aroma of delicious food filled the air. Everyone was in high spirits, eager to celebrate with Anwar and his family.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this joyous occasion. Anwar was overjoyed. He moved through the crowd, greeting guests with warmth and generosity. His heart swelled with pride as he watched Yasmin, radiant in her wedding finery.
Father, this is also wonderful. Thank you for everything.
Yasmin, my dear, you deserve nothing but the best. As the festivities reached their peak, a minor incident occurred. A palace servant, new to the king's court, accidentally tripped and spilled a goblet of wine on Anwar's robes.
Unbeknownst to Anwar, the seemingly insignificant incident had been witnessed by the king's advisor, a cunning and ambitious man. The advisor, always eager to sow discord and advance his own standing, seized upon the opportunity. He subtly hinted to the king that Anwar's reaction had been disrespectful.
What are you implying? He suggested that Anwar had deliberately humiliated the servant in front of the guests. Could it be true? Has Anwar shown disrespect? The king, used to the advisor's shrewd observations, began to harbor doubts. He valued loyalty and respect above all else. The advisor's words planted a seed of suspicion in his mind. He couldn't shake the feeling that Anwar might not be as trustworthy as he had believed. Despite his doubts, the king chose not to confront Anwar directly. However, the advisor's words had taken root. The king's demeanor towards Anwar subtly shifted. Anwar, oblivious to the doubts swirling around him, remained the gracious host.
In the days that followed the wedding, the king, influenced by his advisor's whispers, grew increasingly distant from Anwar. He found reasons to avoid Anwar's counsel. He no longer sought his advice on matters of the kingdom.
Your Majesty, is something troubling you? You seem distant.
No, Anwar, everything is fine. I just have much to think about. Anwar, perceptive as he was, noticed the change in the king's behavior. He was deeply troubled. He racked his brain, trying to understand what had caused this sudden shift.
What could I have done wrong? I have always served with honesty and dedication. The king's coldness toward Anwar did not go unnoticed by the other courtiers. They were quick to sense a shift in the balance of power. Some, out of fear, distanced themselves from Anwar. Others, wanting to curry favor with the king, began to spread rumors and gossip. Anwar found himself increasingly isolated. His once welcomed presence in the palace was now met with suspicion and avoidance. Anwar knew he had to clear his name.
One evening, as Anwar sat alone in his garden, deep in thought, he noticed a figure approaching him. It was the young servant who had spilled wine at his daughter's wedding. The servant, whose name was Ravi, looked anxious. He had heard whispers in the palace about the king's changed attitude towards Anwar.
I know the truth. I saw the advisor whispering to the king that night. I also witnessed your kind and forgiving reaction to the spilled wine. Ravi felt a deep sense of guilt. He knew that he was the unwitting cause of Anwar's troubles. Mustering his courage, Ravi approached Anwar. He bowed low and with a trembling voice told Anwar everything he had seen and heard.
Ravi, filled with remorse, begged Anwar for forgiveness.
Please forgive me, I will go to the king and confess everything I know.
No, Ravi. Such a direct approach would only anger the king. It might even put your own position in jeopardy. Instead, Anwar devised a plan. He knew the king valued intelligence and loyalty above all else. He would use these very qualities to prove his innocence and expose the advisor's treachery. Be patient, Ravi. Continue your duties as usual. Keep your ears open for any opportunity to reveal the truth without directly implicating the advisor. We will clear my name together.
Anwar, known for his business acumen, decided to use his skills to uncover the truth. He would create a situation that would expose the advisor's lies without directly accusing him. He knew the kingdom was about to embark on a trade agreement with a neighboring land. This agreement was vital for Vardhamana's prosperity. Despite his exclusion from the king's inner circle, Anwar used his network of contacts to gather information about the neighboring kingdom's trade practices. He discovered that the advisor had been secretly meeting with the envoys from the neighboring kingdom. The advisor was planning to manipulate the trade agreement for his benefit. Anwar knew this information was crucial to expose the advisor's true colors. He entrusted the information to Ravi, along with a carefully crafted plan.
Ravi, place these documents where the king will find them.
Ravi, following Anwar's instructions, carefully placed the documents among the king's papers. He was anxious, but he had faith in Anwar's plan. He knew that the truth had a way of revealing itself.
The next morning, I was preparing for my meeting with the envoys. I came across the documents Ravi had planted. As I read through the detailed reports and the undeniable evidence of my advisor's treachery, my face hardened with anger. I realized that I had been deceived. The advisor, driven by greed, had poisoned my mind against Anwar. I immediately summoned Anwar to the palace.
When I arrived, the king greeted me with remorse and shame. He apologized for doubting my loyalty and explained how he had been misled by his advisor. He then revealed what he had discovered about the advisor's treacherous plans. Anwar, though hurt by the king's mistrust, felt a surge of relief wash over him. His name was cleared.
The king, eager to right his wrongs, dismissed the advisor from his court. He rewarded Ravi for his courage and honesty. The king, humbled by the experience, learned a valuable lesson about the importance of trust and the dangers of listening to poisonous whispers. With Anwar back at his side, the king ruled Vardhamana with wisdom and compassion. The kingdom flourished under their leadership. Trade routes thrived, bringing wealth and prosperity to the land. The people of Vardhamana enjoyed peace and abundance.
Using my experience, I established a system of checks and balances within the court. This system ensured that no single advisor could wield undue influence over the king. I also implemented measures to promote transparency and accountability in the kingdom's governance. The king, learning from Anwar's example, became known for his fairness and his commitment to justice. He ruled with a compassionate heart, always seeking the well-being of his people. Vardhamana, once on the verge of discord, transformed into a beacon of harmony and prosperity.
As years passed, the story of Anwar, the wise merchant, and Ravi, the honest servant, was passed down through generations. Their tales served as a reminder of the importance of integrity, the power of forgiveness, and the enduring strength of truth and justice. Vardhamana entered a golden age of peace and prosperity.
The king, guided by my wisdom, ruled with a just hand. Ravi, rising through the ranks, became a trusted advisor known for his honesty and loyalty. The memory of the deceitful advisor served as a cautionary tale. It reminded everyone that ambition, fueled by greed, could have devastating consequences. The people of Vardhamana learned from the past and strived to build a society based on trust, integrity, and mutual respect. And so, the tale of Anwar, the merchant who fell from grace and rose again, became a beloved legend in Vardhamana.